morning, everyone. Good morning again to all of you who have joined us here in the sanctuary, and welcome to the virtual sanctuary for the Center for Spiritual Living, Bellingham. I have a cold, as you can probably hear. Nothing else. I tested. And so I want to give thanks for health today, gratitude for health. My teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, used to say, we never give thanks for a non-toothache. We only notice toothaches when we have them. And so all of a sudden I'm aware of how lovely it is to be able to breathe normally. And I'm grateful for that. And I offer that to you. Breathe for me in this day. And let's turn it over to this lovely band for some great music.
Feel free to go ahead and stand up for this one. How can I serve today, sweet Spirit? How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Who needs my love today, sweet Spirit? Who needs my love today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. How must I share today, sweet Spirit? How must I share today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. How can I serve today, sweet Spirit? How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Yeah, beautiful. Take a minute and say hello to someone you haven't met yet. And if you're out in the ethers in internet, go ahead and welcome your community in the chat. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 All right, beautiful.
That is some good energy going on. Good morning, everyone, and welcome near and far. My name is Ronna Biggs, and I'm your practitioner for the day. Welcome, everyone, and please join me in a morning prayer, and we'll keep the good energy flowing. Join me in knowing that there is one great joy, one great light, one great love from which all has come to this very moment, and we are present with it, as it, and for it. It is the joy of that great sound within our own heart that calls us forward to step into this day brightly and boldly, that we ask, how may we serve? And the answer is clear, that it is with loving kindness and grace. It is with gentle steps and sweet smiles along the way. And on this day, I am invited to follow my heart's calling. And I awaken to the goodness within and all around and savor the beauty and awesomeness of this moment. What a joy. What a precious moment. Bless this life and this very, very good morning. And so it is.
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end and where do I start? Anything you pray for, if fear is in your way, I am here to listen to anything you need to say. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever I feel, you feel too. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. My prayer too. Please join. We are connected by the heart. Where do you end and where do I start? Anything you pray for, if fear is in your way, I am here to listen to anything you need to say. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. my prayer too. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment here, to this new beginning here. And I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. And here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Thank you. So wonderful to have you back, Kathy. All right, so we're starting a new month, and we're starting with a different theme for the month, and it's Mystics, Saints, and Rascals. And I've been so excited to be able to talk about this topic because when I was quite young, I was raised Episcopalian. And so from a very young age, I was convinced that I was going to become a nun. And my mother had to break it to me that there weren't any Episcopal nuns in the places that I thought. So I sort of got over that, but I've always been fascinated by the saints and the mystics of old and new, because we have some that are with us now speaking and teaching. And so I wanted to just talk a little bit about what the science of mind says, because the science of mind is a mystical teaching. So there's prophetic teachings, which are typically, for example, Christianity and Islam and Judaism. And then there's mystical traditions, and Science Mind happens to be one of the mystical ones. But what's interesting about mysticism is it's not limited to any wisdom teaching or any religion. So we have Christian mystics and Jewish mystics and Islamic mystics and us, so many of us. And so I wanted to talk a little bit to sort of set up the month about what a mystic actually is. And Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science Mind philosophy, gives this sort of apt metaphor, sort of a description. And so I thought I'd read it to you, because he too was kind of fascinated by the mystical, and he actually ended up having tremendous mystical experiences as he got older. But this is what he says. So, a mystic. A good illustration would be to suppose a large group of people are in a room together, but unaware of each other's presence. Each is busy with his own personal affairs, and suddenly the room is illuminated for a second, and they all see each other. Afterwards, they try to tell what they saw. So in flashes of illumination, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality and have brought back with them a picture of what they saw and felt. So that's kind of how he frames the mystical experience. The thing is, every sacred human that I know has had flashes of illumination. I mean, if you think about it in your own life, you may not have actually thought about it like that, but I know you've had them. Often these happen in moments of great joy or in moments of great sorrow. Sometimes they happen when we're alone in nature and something happens and all of a sudden we see into the very center of reality for just a flash. The challenge for sacred humans is that it's very, very easy to just go back into the busyness of our lives and to think of it as just like, oh, that happened, and then forget all about it. So the mystics are the people that don't forget. They're the ones that actually keep the vision that they've been gifted and then work with the vision all the rest of their lives. Those are the mystics that we hear about. And so mystical experience has, in every single tradition, the same components, which I find fascinating but also not surprising. So mystics of all different traditions and in all different places of the world report the exact same thing. And so I wanted to tell you what they report and also give you some examples. I hope you're interested in this topic because for me, I'm like, this is so cool. So what the mystics have taught us kind of can be condensed into four things. And it comes to them in their own language, the language of their wisdom tradition or their religion, and also where they are geographically in the world. But it all amounts to the same message over and over and over through the centuries. For millennia, the same message, which gives me goosebumps. And it's not just because I have a cold. There's something really awe-inspiring that we as humans carry the message forward and keep reporting about it. So this is the first thing they teach. They teach that there is a direct union with the divine and all creation. So whatever their conception of the divine is, and all that we see as earthly creation, we are one with. So Science of Mind, right along with that, we're one with everything. Everything interbees, and because of that, there's an awareness of the sacredness of all life. And different mystics have taken that in different traditions. I found a quote from one of the weirdest mystics from the Christian tradition. They're all kind of weird, I got to tell you. When you're a mystic, you're sort of strange. You don't fit in. So one of the mystics that I used to study, because I just thought he was so different, is William Blake. So William Blake was excommunicated. A lot of the mystics are excommunicated from their traditions because they're saying things that don't line up with the legalities of what the faith has said. So William Blake said this: to see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. So that's the mystic vision, is this understanding that everything is made of the same divine substance, the same energy, we would say, divine energy. And so understanding that, you begin to relate to the world in a very different way. And so I brought you my favorite of the mystics, Hafiz, because he relates to this understanding of the union of all life, the interconnectedness of all life, in this way. This is a translation by David Landensky, and it's called I Am So Glad. Start seeing everything as God, but keep it a secret. Become like a man who is awestruck and nourished, listening to a golden nightingale sing in a beautiful foreign language while God invisibly rests upon its tongue. Hafiz, who can tell you in this world that when a dog runs up to you wagging its ecstatic tail, you lean down and whisper in its ear, "Beloved, I'm so glad you are happy to see me. Beloved, I'm so glad, so very glad you have come." So the nightingale, the dog, everything, God, divine energy, everything made of the same thing. And that's the mystical vision, which leads them to a way of being in the world that really does seem different. And as they move in the world with this understanding, they often get in trouble. Almost all the Christian mystics were either excommunicated or were threatened with it because they were saying things that didn't align. So Julian of Norwich, who was an incredible woman mystic in medieval times, her entire life she spent in the plague. The plague was happening the entire lifespan of her life. And she was visited with visions. And one of the visions that she saw was that there was no sin. She's Catholic. And so that's why Hafiz says, don't talk about it. Because people are not going to understand where you're coming from. Don't talk about it. So she talked about it. So she got in some trouble. But she was able to redact publicly what she had written, but kept it privately, so that later people discovering her writings saw the whole thing that she was gifted. So that's another one of those things, though, that in every tradition there is no sin. Now that's different. I mean, in Science of Mind Land, we know that. We know that sin is an archery term that means to miss the mark. All right, we all do that. But there's a more pejorative meaning to sin in most traditions. And here are these mystics saying, it's not an ultimate reality. Sin is not an ultimate reality. Instead, it's a temporal experience, meaning, another one of the mystics said, it's as if I had been gifted by the Lord of the Manor, that would be God in that tradition, with a message to carry to another Lord far away. And as I was willingly, eagerly carrying the message, I fell into a valley and broke my leg and couldn't get up. That's what sin is like. Does the Lord of the Manor blame me for not being able to carry the message fully? Or does the Lord of the Manor have compassion and love, understanding that I would eagerly do so if I could? So that's the understanding of sin from the mystic tradition. And there's a view in all of their teachings about this that the soul is on a journey of self-discovery. And so for you and for me, we come into this life, and in our tradition, we understand that we've brought with us the subjective tendencies, is the way Holmes talks about it. In other words, the underlying patterns from a different life. And that part of the journey of the soul is to move with those, heal what needs to be healed, and open more and more to the reality of our being, which is that the soul is immortal and eternally with God. So in a way, some of the mystics try to talk about it because it's hard to talk about. Mystical vision is stunning, and so often they're struck down and blinded, and they're held mute by the visions that they're having. They're so strong and they're so powerful. But one of the things they say is that, the separation that we feel is false. It's not true. We actually are one with divine energy all the time, but we don't feel it because we're so involved in that room with those other people that we don't know are there. In other words, we're involved in such a potent way with the historical dimension that we forget that there's another dimension. The cross represents the historical dimension on the horizontal frame, but it represents the universal dimension on the vertical piece. And so we're both at the cross section where the historical and the universal meet. That's where our soul is. And the journey is to understand that we can participate in the historical dimension without in any way letting go of our deep connection to the divine. So I mentioned that they get in trouble, and one of the most gripping, they're not really a couple, but I think of them as coupled or partnered because they were together in Spain in the same time frame. And this is John of the Cross and Teresa of Avila. And they both were born in Avila. They both, of course, were raised in Catholicism, and both had early on visions of connection to Jesus. And so John went into a monastery, and Teresa went into a convent. And ultimately, John became Teresa's confessor, because in those days, and I think maybe still today, the men were the confessors for the nuns. That was the way that was structured. So anyway, the story, I'm going to read it to you. It's kind of brutal. I'm sorry, but it's true. And it is fascinating. And it also tells a tale about suffering and mystics. So John of the Cross was born in 1542 and died in 1591. And he studied theology and philosophy as a monk at the university in Salamanca. And then he joined in reforming the Carmelite order with Teresa. And so she went into the convent to reform the order, which had gotten very worldly. And he went into the monastery to do the same. Neither of them were particularly popular with their fellow nuns and monks. And so what happened to John is that at 35 years old, he was abducted by the monks of his order. They actually kidnapped him, and that's because they didn't like what he was trying to do to reform their order. And so they threw him for 9 months into a stone latrine in a monastery in Toledo. And it was barely big enough to fit him, and there was one little tiny window at the top of the latrine. So it was there as he languished, writes Mirabai Starr, it was there as he languished that the caterpillar of his old self dissolved and the butterfly of his authentic being grew its wings. His prison cell, a stone room barely large enough for his body, his single robe rotted from his body in the fetid heat of summer, and in the winter he shivered in the rag that remained. Several times a week, this is the hard part. So if you're sensitive like me, just breathe. Several times a week, the brothers brought him out to be flogged while they enjoyed their midday meal. Otherwise, he sat in the darkness, tracking the stars through the single small window high up in the wall of his cell. Doubt began to infiltrate his psyche, and though he clung to the life raft of faith, it began to disintegrate in his hands, and he drifted into despair. Anybody? Been there? Been there. Like Jonah in the belly of the fierce fish, the imprisoned friar found himself suspended in the void. He was unable to move toward any kind of hopeful future or backward to the innocent idealism that had led him to being swallowed up in this situation. It was painful enough for him to wonder if God had given up on him, but the true agony descended when he began to find himself giving up on God. At last, he simply ran out of energy and let himself down into the arms of radical unknowingness, which is where the transmutation of the lead of his agony began to unfold into the gold of mystical poetry, which became the text that many of us have read, Dark Night of the Soul. So he ultimately vanquished fear, and out of that dark night, his faith was not only restored, but hammered like a metal until it shone. And he became a saint in the Catholic tradition because of it. So is suffering necessary? No, suffering is not necessary. Is it common? Yes, it's very common. For sacred humans, suffering is very common. And in this tradition, in this philosophy, we say it's not necessary, but when we have it, just like John, we can utilize those moments to deepen and to connect in ways that we haven't perhaps found before. So this leads me to one of the other things that goes along with there's no sin. All of the mystics also say there's also no evil. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but lately I've seen something that might be called evil. However, what they say about evil, just like sin, is that it's an experience, but it's not God ordained. It's a human experience, created by humans, inflicted on other humans and species and the earth, but not a God-ordained experience that you live under the yoke of forever. In other words, there's no Satan in a titanic clash with God. We don't believe that. The mystics were like, nope, not true, which is also why they got in trouble. And so as they were sharing, they not only got in trouble, but other people who could catch the vision, catch the energy that they were speaking to, were drawn. And so all of the mystics, all of them, ended up creating incredible works with other people, in writings and in practices. So I'll name a few. One of my favorites when I was young was St. Francis. And I was caught by St. Francis because he worked with lepers. And leprosy in that day, it's still on the planet. I don't know if you knew that. But leprosy in that day was a horrific scourge. And lepers were forced to wear bells so that people could hear them coming because it was catching. And nobody wanted to have leprosy. So lepers were banned from being in the towns and in the villages and had to kind of make these encampments, sort of like what we have today. And so Francis went out to the lepers. How could he do such a thing? It's what I asked as a child. How could he do such a thing? Wasn't he afraid? And the answer was, no, he was so filled with love that there was no fear left in him. And that's the last of the messages from all the mystics is love creates everything. Love is what this whole thing is about. And so as that message came through to them, they were transfigured and transmuted by that love, all of them. So it didn't matter what tradition. Love made of them a magnet, a light, a way that people were drawn to. So it wasn't just Francis. It wasn't just St. John or St. Catherine or Teresa. But think of Rumi. Rumi, the mystical Islamic scholar who was transformed in his flash of illumination with Shams, an itinerant teacher. Think of, I don't know if you've heard of Rabia, who is actually the founder of the Sufi order, a woman, very unusual in that day, but she was born into an Islamic culture and had visions from the time she was young. Her parents tried to marry her off. This often happened with women mystics, and she was absolutely not going to do it. So she ran away into the desert with nothing. And she was sustained. The myths and the stories around her say that she was sustained by God, bringing to her different food so that she could live. And water, of course, a priceless commodity in the desert. She always found water. And she was one that literally broke the mold of what women in that society were. And so people from all over were drawn. And it was said that at one point she was imprisoned in slavery. But the master of the slaves saw that she had a light above her head all the time, that wherever she went, there was a light. And so he let her go, you know? So the stories are fascinating, but what does it have to do with you and me? You know, like why would I bring this to you as part of a yearly theme grounded in spirit? Well, my own experience is that you wouldn't be drawn here if there wasn't a touch of the mystic already in you, that you'd already experienced something that puts you on a spiritual path and that carries you forward and keeps you in inquiry and invites you to see the world in a different way, which is the mystic vision. So long ago, I read this wonderful quote, and I've always thought that this is why you and I continue on the spiritual path. So this is by a man named Ray Faraday Nelson. In the landscape of the soul, see if this fits for you. In the landscape of the soul, there is a desert, a wilderness, an emptiness. And all great singers must cross this desert to reach the beginning of their road. Jesus, Buddha, Moses, Muhammad, all wandered through the wasteland speaking to demons, speaking to empty air, listening to the wind, before finding their dove, their Bodhi tree, their stone tablets, before finding their true voice. I have hope for you, exactly because I see you have entered this desert, following in the footsteps of those few who have been true teachers. And I do have hope for us. I do have an understanding that the more we can live in the awareness of love and bring it into the world in all the ways we do, and I know you do, whether it's capturing spiders and taking them outside instead of smashing them, or choosing to let go of eating meat a lot, or reducing plastics so that the earth can heal, or moving with social justice issues so that people who have been oppressed can find a way to be supported and lifted, donating money, donating time, donating food, sitting in prayer, sitting in meditation, all the ways we do. That's why I have hope for the world. That's why I have hope for myself and for you. So let me do a prayer, and we'll close. Emerson once said, "The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose." And I hold that understanding of divine energy, that it is lying everywhere in repose, meaning available, relaxed, energy flowing without inhibit. And this energy of the divine is moving in you and moving in me. It moves in ways that illuminate the mind and the heart with love and wisdom, with sacred sight, the ability to see clearly in situations that are cloudy, obscured, difficult. This is what the divine energy does in all of us. And so, I know for you, and I know for myself, that there is a willingness now to open even more to this energy moving and flowing, aligning us with divine love, powerful insight, opening us to the world beyond the historical dimension, allowing us to touch the immortality that we are, the love that we are. And as we are opened, we are moved. It is not an idle thing. It is an active call. And with this vision and with this understanding, we move forward in our lives, becoming healers and revealers of love everywhere we go. I'm grateful in this awareness, and I'm grateful that this prayer, moving in me, and if you say yes to it, moving in you, will have its way with us. And love is the call. Will you say with me now, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to switch gears here and invite the ushers to prepare for the offertory. And if you are able to give a donation to the center, we deeply, deeply appreciate that. I know many of you do on a regular basis, so thank you. And let's have a wonderful song.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. Spirit divine, come to me, healing love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love
Oh, thank you. So a couple of things. The men's group is meeting next Sunday, and it will be an integrated experience, meaning that it will be offered on Zoom as well as in person here. It begins at noon and goes to about 1:30. And if you identify as a man, we invite you to come. If you have questions, Philip Flores, raise your hand, Philip. We'd be happy to answer any questions about that group. There will be no women's group this month, we're sad to say, but women's group falls on Easter Sunday. And we kind of want to do Easter with our families. So we'll meet again in May. And we have a couple of things coming up that we wanted to make you aware of. This is our last chance to sign up as a host or a hostess for Gourmets for Good. Yes, I know there's a few of us that have done that. And if you've been thinking about it, the deadline that we need to have the description for your dinner in is April 5th, so just a couple days from now. There's an online form, which I filled out, so if I can do it, anybody can do it, I'm telling you, that sort of walks you through the information that we need so that Philip, who is our graphic artist, can create a beautiful setting for the dinner that you're planning. So we'd love to have a few more dinners. We do have a wonderful array so far, but of course we knew that it would be sort of more of a minimal Gourmets for God this year, since we're all just sort of coming out of things. So don't forget, if you're one of those that said, I want to do it now, do it today. We also, a few years ago, we became aware of Bob Wallen Insurance. And Bob Wallen Insurance, once a year, offers a cash award to nonprofits who are doing good in the community. The way they award those cash awards is we have to vote. And so we nominated our program called Laundry Love, which provides laundry services for people experiencing homelessness, which is running us about $1,000 a month. I don't know if you knew that. And so the first cash prize is, I think it's, let me see, $2,000. So that would get us through 2 months. The second place prize is $1,000, and the third place is $500. And believe me, any of that would help a lot. So you will see, if you go to the announcements on our website, or if you get Constant Contact in your email, you'll see a link to Bob Wallen Insurance, and there you can vote. And so can your friends, even if they don't come here, and so can your family. Because I don't know about you, but my family said, of course I'm going to vote for Laundry Love. That's an incredible program. So could you spread the word and vote so that maybe we will be awarded one of the cash prizes? That would be wonderful. I'm also thrilled to tell you that this CSL drumming circle is starting back up. And that's really exciting for some of us. The drum circle will be meeting on the second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. for an hour. So 7 to 8 here in the sanctuary. And totally free. They have so many instruments. Even if you don't have one, feel free to come and be part of this really joyous, creative, rhythmic, wonderful thing. It's open to men and women and others who identify in different ways. We'd love you to come. And then I mentioned Easter. Easter is April 17th. I know it's not a big holiday for science mind people sometimes. And it isn't a big holiday in the same way that many of the Christian churches have. But we do honor that, that glorious expression of opening to renewal. And so we have a ceremony that we do every year, except during the pandemic, that's called the Personal Blossoming Ceremony. And it's beautiful to participate in person with that ceremony. We'll have flowers available, and every person who comes receives a flower, and then we do this very simple but for me, very profound ceremony of recognition of our own renewal and our own Christed nature. So you're invited to come on the 17th and be a part of that. I think everything else you can read for yourself on the website or in your Constant Contact. So let's have one more song and take ourselves out into this beautiful spring day.
All right, and please stand. You're going to probably know this one. This is to celebrate the return of spring and the start of gardening season. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. Old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Till the rain comes tumbling down. Till the rain